Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. My
Deadlights Pod. Welcome to the Deadlights Podcast. I'm your host, Sam.
And I'm your other host, Leslie. And that's the first time I've messed up in a little bit.
Yeah, you've been solid this
I've
season
been
for
pretty
sure.
Solid.
But maybe this movie that we watched got
me a little choked up.
Got you stumbling.
Can't really say my words.
Yeah.
But no, welcome to another week of horror, everybody.
Yeah, true horror in this one.
Man. Oof.
Man, oh man. Well, the first thing I guess I'll lead off with is this is a movie that you've been wanting us to pick for a minute.
Yeah.
So it is cool. The Bucket. Thank you, Bucket.
Thank you, Bucket.
Blessed us with this. Glad I got the opportunity to watch it with you because we got a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
After what we just watched.
I'm so excited because for years I've been like, you need to see this movie. It fucking hurts.
Yeah, it does hurt. It hurts a lot.
Yeah.
But that's why we're here. We gotta go through these experiences too.
Yep. We gotta cry every now and then.
Every now and then.
So what did we watch?
We watched Prisoners from 2013, directed by Denis Villeneuve, written by Aaron Guzikowski. When Keller Dover's daughter and her friend go missing, he takes matters into his own hands as the police pursue multiple leads and the pressure mounts.
And boy, does it.
Oh.
Boy, does it fucking mount and becomes Mount Everest.
And every day, she's wondering why I'm not there to fucking rescue her. Do you understand that? Me, not you. Not you, but me.
All right.
Now why didn't you look for my fucking daughter rather than fucking...
Hey.
Maybe this is where we should start. Why would we put this in the bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think people think of this movie, they're like, horror?
It's more like a crime.
Yeah.
Kinda.
And I myself honestly was thinking, maybe this doesn't fit in the bucket when we pulled it, because I had only seen it once. But now rewatching, I'm like, there are some truly horrifying things here. And the more horrifying thing is that there's nothing supernatural in this movie that we're dealing with. We're dealing with real people and their actions in unbelievable circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And it is terrifying.
So scary to think that there are people who have done something similar to this. It just hurts. It hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone participating in this movie gave it their 1,000%, and it just makes something like this so much more horrific to see.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those movies that it's a mirror, putting up to yourself of you are asking questions, ethical questions of yourself by the end of the movie and throughout. And I think that's why it works so well, is because inherently with a movie that's set in this kind of reality and this kind of story, you're asking yourself, what would I do if I was in this movie? What would I do if I was in these circumstances?
What? So they weren't there either. They must be.
They here?
No, they're not here. They weren't there.
No, they're not at the house.
No, they're not there.
Wait, I checked the entire house. They're not here.
Everybody had reasons as to why they kept going, and excuse some of the things.
That's one of the main questions of this movie.
Yep.
And we'll definitely talk about it. Should we jump into it?
Yeah, let's jump in.
All right, let's jump into the can.
I'm so excited to talk about this movie with you.
Here we go.
Just wanted to tell you.
Nice. I think probably where we should start in the can is with the filmmaker, Denis Villeneuve. He's at this point a pretty well-known filmmaker with Dune, Arrival, Sicario.
So fucking good. When we discovered how many films he has in his fucking hands that I love, I'm like, oh no, I am a huge fan of yours. Mm-hmm. And you can just tell this film, it deals with something so fucking heavy. And for how beautiful it looks, it feels as if this is what Twilight was trying to capture, this kind of atmosphere of it being rainy and snowy, wet. They captured that.
Also, the color choice too. He, I think, did a great job of pairing the blues with the oranges. There's color theory in there. These colors are complementary, so it's aesthetically pleasing to our eye to see them together. And I think that was a great choice by him to really, highlight too the darkness of the world, and also there are light points too. We were getting so many obscured shots by windows, by trees, behind cars, behind people's shoulders, making things so we can't see what they truly are. Everything that he's shooting makes sense with the story that we're trying to tell. There's so many shots that are telling us without saying anything. And that's, I think, a big thing for us as people who are watching a lot of these movies is this spoon-fedness. I think this movie does a pretty good job of showing rather than telling. And that is hard to do as a filmmaker, to get across an emotion or a point without saying anything.
The moment in where Hugh Jackman, it's like the first morning of their kid's disappearance. So all the contextual details, is that what I'm trying to phrase?
Yes, like the context clues.
Yeah, the context clues as to he has finished crying. He's just fresh out of crying, so he's washing his face. And then he looks down to the toothbrushes and he sees his daughter's toothbrush. And that's going to kickstart another wave of grief.
Keller is a character that is showing us a part of our own ugliness. And to do that, you have to have an actor that will be ready to give everything and to have the generosity to give this ugliness and his vulnerability in the same time.
And that's all the scene was. No words were said. No extra kind of visual things were added. It was just very simple and clean, informative in an emotional based way.
Yes.
And that's what this film does very beautifully. Denis. Denis? Denis.
Denis. He's a Frenchman, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, we like French filmmakers apparently in this podcast.
Yeah, we do.
And this also is kudos to his editor and his cinematographer, all these other people around him that are supporting the vision that he has. They're all nailing it.
He's confident in his actors, he's confident in his story, he's confident every day on set we're going to get what we need. And that provides a space for people to create.
Another thing that I wanted to mention too is, especially in the can, is the acting performances. Because I think that everyone needed to be pretty much on point to let this natural style land too. Top billed actors in Prisoners were Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis, Melissa Leo, Maria Bello, Terrence Howard, Paul Dano, David Malkin. Everyone was believable.
It was so believable. When I saw this, I saw Paul Dano shine. I mean, he's also has shiners everywhere.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh God, I made a joke about that.
Yeah. Gotta.
He looks terrible.
He does.
Like his progression of just the torture he was enduring, and then all we saw was just his eye for the remainder of the film while he was in that room.
He's in that fucking box. He was a box.
Oh God, it was terrible.
Oof.
He's not a person anymore. No, he stopped being a person when he took our daughters.
To me, it logistically looked like what some families would look like going through this grief of losing someone. And then I can totally see Jake Gyllenhaal's character being just someone who is so devoted to their work.
Yeah.
Particularly for me, was fascinating was watching interrogations. And those who are most innocent to us could be the opposite, or could just be innocent. And more often than not, it's an equation that follows no rules.
I thought it was great storytelling, a great choice to have both sides, because typically we're either getting one side or the other.
There's no way that someone with the IQ of a 10-year-old could abduct 2 girls in broad daylight and then somehow make them disappear.
How could he drive an RV if he has an IQ of a 10-year-old?
Hey, we're considering all possibilities.
I don't think you are considering all possibilities.
I hear what you're saying.
No,
Sir,
listen to me. Just shut the fuck up for a fucking second.
I'm not crossing anybody off my list. Just let me do my job.
Anna Dover's father was a mess.
I get it. I understand, but it's not going to happen.
And I was asking for one more day.
Fuck you. No. You find his daughter, he'll forgive you. You don't, he's going to hate you anyway.
So there was a great balance there. Things were revealing more about the story from each perspective, and it's just really nice to have both of those perspectives because you feel for everybody in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're kind of left with, whose side am I on? What, is there a side that I would want to be on in this movie?
Prisoners could have been made as a Western. It's really the fight between the cowboy and the sheriff. I mean, it's like the guy who represents the law and the guy who defied the law. All those characters are thinking that they are doing the right thing. You know, that's what is so powerful about the story.
And this is where the title comes in, is like everybody becomes a prisoner when something like this happens.
Mm-hmm. Everyone.
I mean,
no one's okay.
No one's okay. And you never know how someone is going to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you guide someone during those times?
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily believe in looking to other people for help. He's prepared himself to look after his family, and his dedication to his family is absolutely paramount.
The horror is secondary to the fact that he probably has the answers as to where my child is.
All right, let's get to the meat.
Let's meet it up.
Let's meet it up.
This... Let's get meated.
Yeah.
Let's meat down.
Let's.
I'll just name off a couple. I'll choose the best one. He's very much setting us in a real situation and taking us on along a ride and an experience like that to then force us to, like I said, ask questions about ourselves. You know, what would we do in these situations? What does grief push you to do? We saw each of these people react to their missing child in a different way.
These photos are better than the ones my husband gave you. You can see her eyes more clearly.
It's been 3 days. Why can't you make her come home? I don't understand.
I'm just asking you a couple questions. I will talk to him.
No, don't
okay?
talk.
Mr. Dover.
Arrest him.
The most extreme side is Keller, who is out there causing violence in order to get to the truth, doing whatever he has to uncover where his kid is.
Hugh has an innate goodness. You can tell he's a good man, and that's who Keller is. But when you're pushed to the extreme like that, and that testosterone animal thing that comes out, and he has both of those and is able to bring that to the role.
The idea of this kind of character, who's very much used to being in control of himself and his life and has some secrets, some dark secrets, all of that being challenged in this cauldron of this really heightened story, to me was just a challenge, a different kind of character and a challenge that I'd never been given before.
Well, you and I are big fans of true crime. So we've heard, sadly, plenty of stories that, I mean, the people aren't found. And it's so heartbreaking. But every now and then, I don't know which ones you listen to, but like there is like a detective kind of Q&A kind of episodes. And those are always fun because it gives you a little bit more perspective into what it takes to do this amount of work and how little time you have to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
Your police captain told me that you've solved every case that you've ever been assigned. Is that right? Sorry. I'm so sorry. Do you have children, detective?
I'm gonna find your daughter.
To uncover things that you do not want to think a person can do.
Yeah.
You don't want to think of a person being that vile and monstrous. 'Cause how can you? But these two people, Paul Dano and David Schmalkin. I love you, by the way, David.
Daniel. Me too.
No, I thought it was David.
It's Daniel.
It's Daniel?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I do love you, Patrick.
Patty.
Patty cake. Those two were children that figured out the maces and were used.
She was using them, I think, to lure other children in, as many serial killers do. Or, we see like a John Wayne Gacy type would do that.
She just wanted to get rid of children.
It was their war on God to make people lose faith.
Making children disappear is the war we wage with God. Makes people lose their faith.
They were very religious. At least Hugh Jackman's was to like a fault in where he was a doomsday kind of person just because he believed that there would be an apocalypse and all these things.
All those things.
All these things.
You know
what I'm saying? So like every time that he continued with Alex torture, he would repent and he would say his prayers.
Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. On earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
Because he believed he was doing the right thing. And would they have been able to figure it out without both people, Jake Gyllenhaal's and his contribution?
I know they were here.
Put your hands on your head and turn around.
Alex just needed someone to just talk to.
Yeah.
He
needed like someone to just listen to him.
Open up. What are you saying? What? What? You're not Alex. What?
The look on your face. My husband used to have the very same look. So we took Alex. He was the first kid we ever took.
Derealization is a big part of this movie for specifically Keller, obviously, because no matter how many facts you put in his face, he will not stop believing that Alex has something to do with this.
Why won't you tell me? Huh? He knows. He knows. I can see it in his eyes. He fucking knows.
For a lot of this movie, we're like, oh my God, like the truth that you've made in your head is pushing you to do so many awful, awful things. And I think that it's a smart tie that we have to police officers and detectives. We, like you said, are big true crime fans. We've heard a lot of times of false confessions because of police questioning tactics and making people believe if they say something, they will get out of it just because
they coax them into saying the things they want them to be captured on camera so then they can use that for evidence.
Yeah. There's the Jake Gyllenhaal line. He was like,
Was it a special day? Were you planning on taking 2 little girls?
No.
Have you done that before?
No.
Do you tie them up? Do you tie them up? Huh?
Hey. Hey.
I'm not trying to tell you you're doing anything bad. I'm just trying to get the right answers out of you, okay? The real ones. That's all I want.
Each of them are dealing with their own unethical means to get to the truth. But that is what's a part of this movie, is in the end, after we see everything unfold, and yes, they save both girls, and they reveal a serial killer that has been active. Was it worth it to get there? Because they wouldn't have got there if Keller wouldn't have kidnapped Alex and tortured him in a box for 5 days, and then Loki, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, finding that, which then just out of coincidence happened to have him go to the actual serial killer's house the night that she was going to kill the daughter. So that leaves us to the question of, was that all worth it? Because also what we realize in the end, like you said, Alex, Paul Dano's character, was originally a kidnapping victim from this couple. And then they just held on to him and brainwashed him to be Alex, which is not actually his real name.
Same person who took him took those girls, I'm sure of it. Wearing out the tape, I guess. I watch it every day after breakfast. It's the only video I have of him. No one took them. Nothing happened. They're just gone.
And so he's just a actual victim of these serial killers, who's then being even more victimized by Keller to get to the truth, because he knows something.
No light gets in. There's barely enough room to sit down inside. I rigged the water heater so it either comes out scalding or freezing. It's to remind us, in case we start feeling sorry for him.
The question of, like, is anyone going to be okay after this? Like, the children were kidnapped. Like, they're going to have their own issues from this. I mean, the dad might not even survive. And even if he does get found, he's going to be put in jail because of what he did to Alex. And their kids are going to grow up with no parent, probably. So it ripples out. It ripples out. And I think that is another point of this movie, is the effects of a person's actions don't just stop there.
These kids were tortured. You know, one of them had just like maces all around, because that was the only way for them to get out, was to finish the maces that I'm pretty sure he just sees mazes.
Daniel's character escaped, or was able to get out of their clutches by solving the mazes. But then the trauma of all of that caused him to then play out these fantasies. He was just like another victim too, but his way of coping with it was to break into people's houses, take their clothes, but then play out the fantasy of killing children. That's why the mannequins were a part of it. Pretend to kill them. That's why I had the pig's blood too, to further the fantasy, and then bury them. So I think that he was more of a red herring of, he was actually a victim of the serial killer couple, but escaped. And then his way of dealing with it was playing out fantasies. And maybe he was a risk of eventually doing this to children, but they caught him before he could actually play it out for real.
Taylor was abducted when he was a kid. He ran away after 3 weeks, and the captor drugged him on some sort of LSD ketamine cocktail, and he never remembered. He never caught the guy.
He read the book and decided he was taken by the Invisible Man. Now he's doing his best imitation, right?
That goes to show how detrimental trauma is.
Yeah.
It will continue. It will cycle. It will ripple.
Listen, kid. Listen, kid. Yes, you can! Yes, you can!
Well, let's get to the cook.
Let's cook it up.
I think a great part about this movie is we are dealing with a mystery, and it is a detective story. So we're, brought along on a ride of getting clues that are leading to other things and more questions. And we said it during the movie of, man, they did a great job of sneaking in things at the beginning that do come back at the end. and inform things and change the perspective of things to then us get to oh shit, it was that person as the real killer.
Even if you can see it, it is well told because it's not spoon fed. So you're not just like hitting your head and being like, we know, you know, you're going along with the ride and seeing how we're going to get these clues.
Yeah.
And that's like the fun part about it.
You know the most important thing your granddad ever taught me? Be ready.
Watching these storylines unfold, mainly between Keller, Hugh Jackman, he's, you know, what we kind of already said, he's like the all-American boy, you know, he's a religious guy, he's got his kids, he's a hunter.
What? He actually loves the Star Spangled Banner. I know. He sings it in the shower. It's a whole...
I do not.
Yes, you do.
I got you.
And then we also have Jake Gyllenhaal. He's like this loose cannon cop, but he's the best.
Hey, you know what? I spent 6 years in the Huntington Boys Home, Father. Hey, you know the Huntington Boys Home, right? Huh? Hurting a fuck like you'd be a real treat for me. Why don't you tell me his fucking name?
It was great to be in both of their shoes as these stories are unfolding. I think at the beginning, we all do kind of suspect Alex has something to do with it. He's doing enough. Paul Dano's performance and how they write him is doing enough for us to be like, wait a second, what does he know?
Hey! Tell me what you did with him! Tell me!
They didn't cry until I left him.
They put enough in there for us to suspect that Alex does know something. So then you're kind of seeing what the parents are doing, and you can kind of sympathize with them. You're like, well, like, he clearly does know something. But then the movie adds in Daniel Desmalchian's character.
He comes in here every week almost and buys kids' clothes, but he's always buying stuff in different sizes. Caught him messing around with the mannequins once.
And then suddenly we're like, holy shit, Alex doesn't know anything. And then we're sympathizing with him and then hating the parents' actions for a while. Hugh Jackman terrorizing this kid that probably knows nothing. And then the friends just being like, let him do what he's got to do.
We don't know nothing.
We're not going to help Keller, but we won't stop him either. Let him do what he needs to. We don't know about it anymore.
Oh, and we're
God.
like, fuck, someone just call someone, please.
I would never put you in that situation.
Thank you. Call someone. All you got to do is down 911.
911.
Shawty get your party burning on the dance floor. Whatever those are.
It's murder on the dance floor.
Murder on the dance floor. And then we're like, wait a second, does Keller have something to do with this too?
You were there.
What? It was where?
It put tape on her mouth.
But then big reveal, it wasn't any of those people at all, really. The mastermind was Crazy Aunt. Crazy Aunt.
Crazy aunt, quote unquote.
Yes.
Ass.
Auntie.
If.
Think you should know. Alex never laid a hand on those girls. Just wanted to take them for a ride in the camper. I was the one who decided they should stay.
Yeah, the unfolding and the suspect hopping that we got going on in this movie, I thought was great. The cook of the story nailed it.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs way up.
Way up. Yeah.
And yeah.
Cool. Well,
let's get to the thrill.
Let's thrill it up.
What's scary about this movie?
Let's thrill it up. Let's cook it up. Let's meat it up. Let's can it up.
Thrilling. This movie really just kind of uncovers the darkness that is underneath what we think of as like a safe world. We're in suburbia where it's supposed to be quote unquote safe.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know what's going on behind people's closed doors.
Look, there's so many stories of children that have gotten kidnapped in the suburbs. So to say it's like the safest is just you're not focusing on, or you're focusing too much in one area or something like that.
It's always the guy that they're like, I never would have suspected him. He was so nice.
That one, the one that draws maces and goes and collects
Clothes.
children's clothes, and they don't have children.
I would never would have seen that.
Suspicious.
Never would have seen it coming. He seems so nice, bearing his mannequins.
Sweating.
This movie does a good job of revealing that a lot of different people have a lot of really dark shit going on in a place that is supposed to be safe. And that's real. These are real stories. This is the reality of the world. And even your neighbors that you think you know. And I think that Franklin, Terrence Howard's character, coming to the realization that he actually does not know his friend Keller at all.
We hurt him until he talks, or they're gonna die. No. No. That's the choice.
He did not think that Keller could do anything like kidnapping someone and torturing them for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big thing of like, you really don't know your neighbors. You really don't know what's behind a real person in the end.
Well, like, you're hoping that, you are not gonna get to that point of figuring that out. Because I would love to never know what grief could do to you to the breaking point.
Yeah.
I don't wish that for you.
No,
I wish you happiness
Thank
and abundance and health.
An eye onto you.
An eye onto you.
Ditto.
No, but you know what I'm saying? So, like, they knew he prepared. He has a clipboard of all of the stuff that he has in his basement.
His favorite song is Star Spangled Banner. He sings it in the shower.
God bless America.
Just imagine that morning, like, oh, God.
4
Anyway,
a.m. and just like, God, shut up.
You don't want to be able to see that guy essentially killing a guy slowly in front of you.
No, thank you.
You never think that anyone will get to that point.
No.
And
But,
that is
like,
scary.
How homie run the blood. How blood hold on, I'll get there. How deep is this homie?
How deep is my homie? Homie, how deep are you? I think you've made your point.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. And honestly, like we said, people might question, why do we put this in there? But it's these truly horrifying things that actually are happening.
Yeah.
In our reality that we have to think about because we watched this movie. So yeah, I was horrified. And you know what? It's our podcast. We can put out whatever we want. You know?
I mean, it has, if not enough violence in this to be able to like be at least categorized in the gore department.
There was gore and torture.
Oh my God.
Oof.
I forgot that you can see a lot of it.
Ugh. And enough was implied where it was having, like,
can't.
that box was just
That
awful.
box.
That torture box. Only scalding hot or only freezing cold.
Poor baby. Poor baby.
Ugh.
Murder on the dance
right.
floor. Better
Let's
not
get to
kill
the ride.
groove.
Hey. It is, I think, I mean, it's a long movie, quite honestly. It's a 2.5 hour movie, but I didn't feel the runtime. I was with it the whole time. They do a great job of having the actions really naturally fall into each other and you being like, where are we going to turn next in this mystery? All the way up until the end.
Mm-hmm.
And even left with questions as they go to black.
Do you think you're gonna find him?
Yeah.
And he'll go to jail.
Probably.
Great job, great ride. It's gonna stick with us for the next couple days for sure.
I mean, it's stuck to me. It has
How
stuck.
deep is this homie?
How deep is this homie, bro? It's way up in there. I saw it in theaters when it first came out, and it definitely has stuck since then. And I am so happy to see it with you. It's one of these films where it just like captured me, and I'm like, nah, I like this shit. I like it maybe a little too much than everyone else around me.
Let me ask you this. If we would have pulled this movie before we did our 100 top ranking movies, would that have changed the list at all?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
See you in the next 100.
Woo!
We'll see you, prisoners.
We'll see you later.
Prisoners from 2013. Let's get to these smashed pumpkins, shall we?
Shall we?
As the person who has many times said you love this movie, I would love to hear your number and log line.
Log line first and then number or
Log
number?
line, say the long line and then lay down the number.
All right.
All right.
Prisoners. Sad story about two sad families' daughters get sadly taken. But just another sad film you sadly should see to make you sad. You'll be left with two sad thumbs. Weigh the sad up.
Sad.
And I give it a 5.
5. Boom.
Yeah.
Figured that was coming. That
You figured that I would be saying sad this many times?
I did not figure you were going to be saying sad this many times, but
Sadly?
it fits.
It fits.
It does fit.
Nice.
I did figure you were going to say 5, though. All right, here is my log line.
Log line.
Grief is a bitch. Just ask Keller after his daughter goes missing one silhouetted evening, and those around him as trauma waves ripple endlessly. Will Detective Loki, not the god, crack the case in time to save the little girls from a killer and their loved ones from the realities of grief?
Wow. That's great.
I give it a 4.8.
4.8.
I didn't say this during the critique because I forgot. But I didn't really like when we revealed that he was Killer Ant and she did her serial killer speech.
Had to slow down since my husband disappeared. I do what I can.
I was like, this is the only point in the movie where I was like, this feels a little heavy-handed. Did we need to know exactly what the motivations were? No.
No.
There was enough in there where I felt like maybe these are fucking just crazy people. And maybe that's scarier. I don't know. That was my only little 0.2 off of it. Just wanted to say it. Great movie, though. Love this movie.
I
love you, Denis.
Wow. Fantastic.
Let's see what we're getting next week, shall we?
It's your turn.
My turn. I can't believe you picked this movie, too.
And you picked Child's Play, so
That's crazy.
that's insane.
That is crazy.
What do you want?
I want something a little lighter, I'm going to be honest. Maybe like a Shaun of the Dead.
Ooh,
I love that movie.
Shaun of the Dead would be amazing. All right, let's see. What if we get another sad one? I'm just going to be sad for the entire summer.
Sad boy summer. When a cop who is just out of rehab takes the graveyard shift in a city hospital morgue, he faces a bizarre series of events caused by an evil entity in one of the corpses. The Possession of Hannah Grace from 2018.
All right. I don't think I've heard this movie.
Little demon in us. Let's see what we got.
Little demon.
Little demon. We had a couple of them this season, I think, so far.
I mean, this one in particular, they talked about demons.
They did. They
and
talked about
religion.
God and demons.
So we've gotten them for sure.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, we have a phone number, y'all, that you can call us to leave emails and stories.
Anything you want, really.
That number is
773-669-6677.
And then in the meantime, go to Instagram, follow me on Color Me Leslie.
Me, BB Bridgie T. And you can follow us at the Deadlights Pod.
Ooh.
Also, if you're in the Chicagoland area, come check us out last Friday of every month
for trivia.
Hex Coffee Company Horror Movie Trivia.
Horror
we'll be
movie
there.
trivia, please. It is lots of fun.
It is lots of fun.
You
We're
win
there.
prizes.
And win prizes.
Prizes.
And we talk about horror movies. It's
Horror.
fun. But until next time,
Let's get spooky. Ooh.
Sad.
So sad.